told only 2 questions, no more, no less.
Yeah, it'll be 2 questions.
You still want to do that spy target thing or no? Kids say,
You guys are killing me. I'm Russian. What do you know about me?
You need to send me this raw footage. I need to make sure I didn't do anything insane in it.
Who has the most embarrassing aim?
Screen name?
Yeah.
Oh my God. By far.
Okay. Should I ask that bride if she has life insurance? It all started when this guy had the crazy idea that everyone should have financial protection. So we traveled down to Wysh HQ in Dumbo, NYC to get you the inside scoop on exactly how they're protecting more families.
Welcome to our office, you guys. Okay, so now I've played and I take 2 times.
Where have you been before Wysh?
Personally?
Yeah.
Yes. So my background, lucky enough, been a serial entrepreneur for almost 15 years. And prior to this, in 2008, right before the financial crisis, I started a product comparison shopping website called MyBankTracker with 2 great business partners. And what was super interesting for that is we launched that in August of 2008. The financial crisis hit in by November, and nobody really trusted their financial institutions. WAMU and others were going out of business, and people were searching. And that honestly, like, spring-loaded our company, and all of a sudden we were getting 1 million visitors a month who were coming in and saying, well, where should I be? I have different factors that matter to us. Fast forward, while I was bootstrapping that business, we ended up partnering with some amazing individuals and being on the founding team of launching Stash Invest and helping them bring that business together. We were able to learn about the robo-investing space and everything that was valued with that. And then collectively, you know, those stories that gave us access to helping companies like Charles Schwab and Northwestern Mutual and et cetera. End result was there was a need for protection in the world, and that's what led us to create Wysh.
So you've innovated with the greater economy in mind, and what is society going through and what do we need right now? What were you seeing in the world that led to the inception of this concept?
So Wysh's whole mindset was that as people are trying to become financially independent, that they would do so when they're feeling more protected. And the belief for that is, especially here in the United States, to really become financially independent, you need to build credit. And to build credit, you kind of are taking on risk, right? You're choosing to take on debt, you're introducing things that organically are great for us if you can control them, but not great for us if they get out of control. And you need to have the protection side of that story, and that was ultimately missing. So our goal was to kind of balance that. At the same sense too, everything I described about our businesses prior to that was the generation I am, right? I'm 42 years old. We've lived through financial crisis, we've lived through, pandemics, and been kind of ending for ourselves for a long time, finding stability. And there's just a market out there that is interested in building that protection. That problem was what was core to what we were trying to bring. At the end of the day, you put it all together. Hopefully it builds larger and deeper trust with these institutions, and we can power that for them.
I'd love to hear, when you were doing your research, about both the banks and institutions you would be partnering with, as well as the end consumers. What were the fears that you were seeing that would stop them from moving forward with this kind of benefit?
Yeah, I think for the financial institution side, the biggest challenges we face is they just didn't know that this was possible. Right? And so when you have people who have like, hey, I have my roadmap and I have my plan, and I got to fix fraud and I got to get better at doing loan origination. And then we come in and say, hey, you know how you've been like offering these really expensive rates and it's been hurting your bottom line, but you're asking for cheaper deposits? You need to think about your customer different. They want protection, and we can show you how to do that. So it's kind of like been a little bit of magic of helping them figure out how that can be done. What the research showed was that there's a long tail effect where people do have their day-to-day needs that they need to be serviced, but they are thinking about their long-term protection and needs as well. And if an institution who they're prioritizing to give their money, becoming top of wallet, can support them in those areas, it creates what I like to call a love mark connection and a deeper bond with that individual and with that customer and that brand. And fundamentally, if we could bring that all together, we think we could win.
So you have the business case that both just directly hits the numbers and really looks at the bottom line. And then you also have that long-term, where's the wealth going to be? Who's going to have it? Are we going to keep our customers? Are we going to acquire new customers as generations continue to move on?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Every institution is worried about capturing the next generation. And as digital banks kind of capture 44% of new account openings, it doesn't mean they're capturing those deposits, right? I think there's a differentiation there that we're seeing in the numbers. And for us, it is bringing that story to the forefront. And I'll give you a good example, right? We recently had 2 institutions who just ran surveys with their customers to see, okay, well, is this really a real thing? And what we told them going in is like, the industry in our America is split, like politics, 50-50. 50% of them feel like they are protected and they're focused on growing their net worth. The other 50% are thinking about, hey, I need more protection in my life. I need a more well-rounded story. And that was exactly the results in the surveys, right? And what's cool and also troubling when we speak to these financial institutions is 44% of your customers have told you that they would take significantly less interest rate to feel more protected. And so it is about proof points, about pushing that forward and then showing them from an ROI perspective that it can be profitable for them while they're doing good for the society as well.
How do banks bring this benefit to their customers?
This is one of the things we're really proud of, how seamless we've made it. So ultimately, institutions are purchasing a policy from us as the insurance company, and then they are applying it to specific accounts that they want to add this protection to, or they could do it at a member level. Once that passes, Life Benefit, which is the built-in life insurance product that we've launched, is the most inclusive form of life insurance available in the market. So anybody who passes that institution's KYC, or Know Your Customer, and is allowed to open that account, if that account has the benefit, they get it. So it's seamless from that perspective. We really looked at the credit card space to mirror that experience. Many of you have opened up credit cards, and if you get that rental car protection, travel protection, you're not having to do anything else. You just have to engage with that product, swipe that card. What is our engagement? Grow your deposits.
What have you seen as results?
To give a little background, as an entrepreneur, I will take, there is a belief that there's always an idea you have that someone out there is doing it. So when I saw this, I said, hey, protection is missing. I just started to look outside of America where these things were happening. And I stumbled upon an institution in Singapore called Singlife. And Singlife had been given a green light during the pandemic to launch an actual bank as an insurance company. And they gave all the same features as a bank, but what they did differently was that they layered on insurance, because that would make them better. And within the first 7 months of launching their product within the Singaporean market, they added 100,000 customers and over $1 billion of fresh deposits. The only difference with them was with protection, right? So that's amazing. We know outside of the United States it works, but outside the United States, protection is more top of mind. So when we brought it here, we were looking at first moving partners, many community institutions who were either seeing their deposits being flat, or they were seeing a little bit of a bank run, or they ultimately had audiences that don't have access to traditional, what I would call enterprise benefits. So they went ahead and added this benefit to show them that they cared about their protection as a better story with them. And consistently with all of our partners now, we have 5 partners live, and in the first 180 days, they're seeing their deposits grow anywhere between 3 and 6%. They're seeing their attrition drop by an additional 2%, and they're seeing the average age of their new account opens get as low as 9 years younger, helping the overall age of their deposits going from an age of 52, 53 down into this 48-year-old group base. So it's just been like a game-changing mechanism for them, and it's just really validating to see this to be true. And it's interesting, as I highlight this, that it's working here in America, it's working in Asia. This is a global thing, and we're just tackling it the way it works for us here in the United States.
I know we met at Money 2020, and I just wanted to show that this is where our award lives now. This is for financial inclusion that we won at the Money Awards, first ever. This is the award that kind of started it all. This is heavy, DJ. You should hold this. This is the Best of Show 2023 at Finovate here in New York. And let's see, what else is my favorite here? We got this one in 2024 for banking tech, for best embedded finance solution, for banks, credit unions, and financial institutions. Fast Company, innovation by design. I'd love for you guys to chat with our product team and our innovators here at In-House.
That'll be me.
So, as head of product, what is your responsibility at Wysh?
The heart of it, my team and I, we work on creating an experience for those who come into the product at any point, and figuring out what is the way in which they can not only get what they came for, but have a nice experience as they do so. They can learn what they need to learn when they need to learn it, and then stay with that product as long as possible. One of the things we're most proud about is that we can honestly say this is the most accessible protection life insurance product that exists in the United States right now. There's no underwriting, anything like that. It's just really cool.
From the perspective of the end user, what are they seeing? What are they interfacing with?
Yeah, we want to make sure that they always know that this benefit that they're getting is happening, and that it's not just an idea that's floating out there. And so if they come in, there's a number of different ways depending on how their bank uses an interface, but they could come into their account, and basically they see as their money increases, this extra 10% or this extra benefit on top of it also increases. So if I've been able to save $1,000, obviously like that's $100 of free money basically. If I'm doing really well, $10,000, then that becomes $1,000 sitting on top of it, and it can just grow and grow from there.
What about the experience of being with a bank and having an account, partnering with Wysh? How can they experience something different?
So we fix that experience by removing it entirely, basically. So if you have an account that has our benefit in it, you sign up for that account the same way you signed up for your checking account, your normal savings account, anything else, and it's just there. And it's as simple as that.
Was that from the beginning, or was someone sitting around and were like, just remove it all? There's no opting in.
Our goal is always just simplify as much as possible. Just make the experience a streamline. And we hit a point where we were like, hey, we could just add it. And it's as simple as that.
I feel like as your job as a startup is to say, what if? And then say something that seems ridiculous or not plausible. And then say, wait, I think we might be able to make that happen.
Yeah.
Great. So bank and fintech partnerships. Yeah. That is something that is very exciting and very puzzling to people. How does that work? How do you make that work moving into 2026 from the perspective of a fintech company?
Well, I think what's interesting about us is that before we started working with banks, we actually had to break through the insurance regulators and understand how that works, because that's one space that fintechs haven't truly dug into yet, which is life insurance. And so before we started working with banks, we really kind of learned everything there is to know about compliance and understanding like the complexities that come with it. And so now when we talk to banks, because we are so equipped with that learning, we're able to approach them on their level, but also ask them, what are your issues? And then provide them solutions that might not even benefit Wysh at times. But because we're a fintech, we're there to kind of benefit them in the way of, hey, this is where the world is moving right now. And maybe we're not the right solution for you, but you should still be thinking outside the box.
Your business development, your partnerships, this is something people are always asking. Who do I want to be talking to?
Start at the people who are like innovation believers and go up from there. If you're talking to anyone who's on the marketing team, because obviously their goal is to bring more and more consumers in. So you definitely want to talk to someone who's on the marketing side, but also somebody who understands the financial challenges that some of the bigger banks might be having. You know, one of the topics that I'm sure you guys covered or will cover in the future is, you know, this kind of like transition of wealth that's going to happen. And we know about the challenges that millennials have faced of not being able to get the right jobs or get the house, and why is that happening? And a lot of that is because the people before them haven't acquired that level of that the boomers did acquire by that age. And so if you kind of try to tap into the younger demographic of these larger organizations and really find people who are trying to make an impact, you could go far.
How does working with Wysh benefit banks?
The most important way is that the bank is showing their customers that they care about them long term. And this is especially important for community banks and credit unions who are very member-centric, really want to make sure that the community that they established survives and continues, and the longevity continues. So they want families to transfer their accounts over to their loved ones when they pass away, instead of the loved ones taking the money that they earn and going to the larger institutions.
What's the business case for banks to invest in life insurance through savings?
Yeah, I think the most important piece of the business case is not so much as to attract new deposits, it's to keep the deposits that are already there. It's to make sure that the wealth transfer happens, and if that transfer happens, the relatives of these members who might pass away stay with the community bank, stay with the local institution instead of kind of withdrawing and starting somewhere else.
What is an actuary?
Well, so actually, high level, one of the analogies I heard from the past, which is really helpful for people to understand, is think of it as like accountant, but they would deal with the future numbers. So we calculate the future events, and then we estimate the risk we are dealing with and how much we can handle, and then the capital and all those risk management aspects. Very different from traditional insurance companies that I worked in the past. I feel very different working here. So to start off, things are moving very fast here, and so many new projects coming up through the pipeline constantly. Here at Wysh, we do a 2-week episode planning with clear goals and tasks set out and shared across the company, so everyone is synced up, and we kind of adjust as we go, as we learn. So the work process is way more dynamic compared to the traditional role that I was involved in the past.
And then, of course, the product is itself innovative in a fintech
yes.
company. So as an actuary in life insurance, how is this fintech product different?
So our core product is the life benefit, which is one of its very own in the US market. We provide embedded life insurance through the banking partners. So compared to the traditional actuarial product pricing, where we know the target audience and it's more defined, here, because we provide embedded insurance through very inclusive coverage that offer to the entire US banking customer base. So that means we have to be very innovative with our pricing and also be very flexible, that tailor to each bank partner's needs, and making sure we manage the risk responsibly.
While everyone else talks about financial inclusion, Wysh is actually building it, embedding into the banks and other channels to reach millions, proving profitability and purpose aren't at odds.
Who has the most embarrassing aim?
Screen name?
Yeah.
Oh my god, by far me.
Okay.
Pooh gal, as in like Winnie the Pooh.
My sister loves Winnie the Pooh.